Hello there, welcome back to the channel. As always, thanks for your subscriptions, comments, viewing and just being there. I feel it's a great way to support what I'm doing. So now we have the opportunity to put some hardwood fascias on, and we've also got some other wood as well which we'll not be using today, but basically it will be this is sapele. This will be like for tops and doors and stuff like that. So slowly the wood stuff's starting to arrive. Plus I've got a couple of switches I'm going to show you which I'm going to use, the type of switches I'm going to use. But the big one today is I want to get that main panel on in the main cabin, and then I want to move through into the helm area and start doing a little bit there, because this is really important to us to start doing some of the electrical work, because that's where we're heading from. So might as well get going. Let's start on the main panel. On the last few videos I've done, it's been a struggle to get to the stage where we can start putting some panels on and then move on with whatever we need to do. So once the panels get on in this section here and in the wheelhouse area just around the back of this piece, we can then move on to doing some other install work and stuff like that. But until then we can't do anything. So today I've got some hardwood. This was going to be a splashback. I changed my mind. It was hardwood before, so let's put it back to hardwood. So this is what we've got. We've got some good old hardwood paneling. So let's get it cut and we'll give it a go. Now, what was on this wall before was this awful piece of kit, absolutely terrible. And I managed to take it off in one piece. So this is going to be my template, to be honest. So on this one I can use template, and I've got a board here ready to go. This is the board what's going to go on. It's hardwood. It's this is 4mm, and basically what I've got to do is get the board cut and then water seal it, which I'm going to use well, I'll show you actually. I'm going to use a PVA with water. So on the opposite side where there's bonds, I'll do a mix. It's about 8 to 1, and that will water seal the panel, and it will also give it a prime to bonding. We use PVA and then we use some Unibond on the panel itself to get on the wall. I'll do exactly the same to this panel here, and all these areas around here where the panel's going will be sanded down, because the next stage of this will be to stain give it a stain, sand it again, and then give it a varnish. First thing you're going to realise is how big these panels actually are. So this is the original one which came off. So basically what I want to do is I try and keep there's a wood grain. Sometimes you have to have it go across, but I'm trying to keep the grain so it goes down. And I don't know if this is actually going to do it. Nice deep marking pen on this one. A little bit there. And here we have some oddball bits here. Might just do them afterwards. Got a fine blade on this. Right, spin this round. It is tight. Right, let's move this board out of the way. This is ready. Two things we're going to do. We're now going to put some PVA. This is actually 82, there's a little bit of water in it, but not much, just to make the brush on easier. And just going to whack it on. I'll try and avoid too much to the good wood, but it'll get on when it'll come off. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've never had a problem with a panel coming on. But I don't think I'd ever want to take one of my panels off in 30 years' time. I think I'd have to just board over it. That's ready. Now, the final bit, just a bit of stick like anything, just go right around the edge. Okay, just. This goes off quicker than the glue. This stuff goes off quicker than glue. Just have a couple of circles just to give it a bond. There we go. We're on. Got a roof line in here, so it doesn't matter about you've got a little gap, but I think that could possibly go up. I mean, the pins are probably holding. No, that's it. That's up. Right, I'm just going to tap the pins in just a little bit. Take them out. The pins I'll take out tomorrow. But we now want to get this so it bonds on. So, there you go. Now, a little bit there. The sander. We'll put the sander over it now, and that will start pushing everything in. Now, there's nothing actually stopping us from putting it. It's been sanded down enough without putting the stain on now, and then because you're going to have to be sanded with the stain again, so I think that's our next thing. We'll put something on it. We can cut the boxes tomorrow. Well, there's no point in hanging around. We might as well get the stain on now. I'll give it a shake for this. Should have used a roller. At the moment, that's not looking too bad. It's only a stain. So tomorrow, that will be need a bit of daylight now. It's going to be dark. Unnatural light's very difficult to show anybody anything. But tomorrow it will be sanded back. The holes will be cut in for the sockets and the switches, and it will be varnished. One coat at least, and then we'll be heading into the other panel on the other side of the wall, which is the Helm wheelhouse control panel, which is next on the list. Well, it's not looking too bad, is it? That's just a stain. We need to sand these down. sand this section here down a little bit. And just give it a little sand over, and then we're going to get a top coat of varnish on. Now, if this would have been bare wood, I'd just go, as before, 30% thinners, 7% varnish, 10% thinners, and then so on, 90% varnish. But this isn't. This has been actually treated with a stain, which has had a sort of a varnish in as well. So we can go straight on with this one here. We're not going to do these. These are going to be done separately because these will be done when we do the door frames. And this section here will be sanded, but we're not doing this section here today because we just want to concentrate on this panel, and then hopefully we'll then start thinking about putting some fittings. But the first thing I'm going to do before I do this panel is cut the holes for the light switch, which has got to go here, and the socket, which will be going close to where it was before, but it's going to go slightly higher. Now the reason I'm doing this is simple. If you look at the picture of the original Galley, you had a microwave here. I don't like microwaves above 1200, which is around this height, mainly because it's not just on a boat, it's a moving item. You're up and down. If you take something out from that level and it spills, it's going to come straight down on top of you. Simple as that. If you've got kids and kids love microwaves, that's going to burn you. So I raise the sockets up slightly because I'm going to have this area here at 900. So the socket's going to be about 1200. The switch I would normally have quite top high so you can find it easy at night, but it would look really, really silly because it's this type of switch, which is a very nice looking type of switch. It's a fancy looking brassy type gunmetal, I'm not sure what it is. That will sit around here because it looks more presentable there, and that will be basically what you're seeing is side lights cabin to the port, galley, and then I've got exactly the same for the shower area and stuff like that. So let's put the boxes in, measure them up. I'm just working out, come down, boom, there. So microwave, going back to that, will either sit on the top, but I think it's a waste of space. We are going to have some spaces around, but I prefer to put it under the counter or on top of the counter, just for that one reason. I think it's just a safety thing. Don't invite an accident. Don't invite an accident, especially on a boat, especially if you're not near any help. Right, let's go. Now, I'm looking at the level of the boat and it's not actually sitting too bad. We're almost spot on. So if we look at the door, again, fractional. So on my box device, I have cutting my boxes something with a little leveling, so I can pretty much get away using that level. I can mark up my light switch here, and I can then mark up my socket here. Okay. Right, first things first. Double box for the three-way switch. Now, this will now come into here. I'm going to keep it below where the fuse panel sits, so I'm going to have to bring it down a little bit. So I've got plenty of space, and a bit lower where the original light switch was. I'm actually about right. Just a bit around there. Yeah, I can see that. I will show you something, what we do with these boxes later on today. I've got some slim lines in the metal boxes, but I will make a little box to go around these, so it will, when you look in the mains panel from the front, you can't see the backs of metal boxes, you'll see just wood, and that's what I want. Now, I made a bit of an error here, because what I should have done is done this before I put this panel up. I should have put the panel up, marked the boxes, took the panel down, cut the boxes in, and then had the metal wood frame on the back where I can screw through the back, hold them on. Now I'm going to have to bond them on, use some little tack screws to hold it into place. That's my mistake. Should have been done differently. Should have fitted the boxes before I done this, and then cut, you know, then measured this, and so on. Here's what it is, you make mistakes. Right, I've measured the boxes, and I've drilled 4 holes on the inner side where each box will sit. So now it's a case of jigsaw them out. Done. Do a bit of sanding in the corners, and that box will fit in there. Okay. Quickly get a sander. Okay, this one down the bottom there, that's gone in absolutely fine. This one is a bit tight here, so I'm just going to take out a tiny bit just on the top with the sander, just to good. That should do it, there you go. So that's it. That will take it off. Might just tap them in for now. So, switch box. Socket box. So that will sit like that when it's done. Yeah. You get a little bit of leeway on the, so if you scuff the edge up like I have just there a little bit, don't worry about it. This will cover it. Also, all these boxes, they have a moving lug just here. So if you're not exactly straight, don't worry about it. You can straighten them up afterwards. You don't have to be exact. Even the slimline box has a lug just there that moves. And this is a 16mm. This is what I'm using for the shower room. I'm hoping to get this box in the shower with the shower panel behind it. I might get away with it. So I haven't got these protruding switches, which I don't want. I've got the opportunity not to have. Right. Now, what I failed to show you was when before these boards go up, I don't varnish the back of the board. I simply use a PVA. Basically, it's a wood glue. That's this stuff here, and it's like I do it about 10 to 1. I do it about 8 to 2 actually. I mix it up about 8 to 2 in a jar. Give it a good shake, and as you'll see here, I just literally brush it all over. And in the wood panel, obviously, then as you see, is basically I use a PVA glue, but I also use a bonding agent round the panel, and that is absolutely. Look at that. I mean, you know, this is wood. PVA almost turns to wood. It's incredibly strong. What I've done is I've just given it a quick wipe over with a bit of 811 thinners, the same stuff we use with the Helm Panel varnish. It's just literally, it's good to go. It didn't really need a sand, so I've looked at it and I thought, you know what, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So, roll and tip. Okay, it's the same stuff we used on the Helm Panel. Just needs one more coat. This is straightforward Duragloss, Helm Duragloss, straightforward. I'm not getting paid to advertise this, by the way. It's just the stuff I've always used for this sort of stuff, because in about 3 or 4 hours time, this will be touch dry, which means I can make more dust. Brilliant. Right, with this stuff, I always start from the top, because varnish, or anything you do, will always work its way down. So if you start at the bottom, sometimes you have to, but if you can, start at the top and then we'll start using the brush just to bed it in. So let's give it a go. First one. Now I use the brush just to bed this in, and that's the bit what gives you the nice finish. Always I need to do the edges, cut them in, just go across, follow the grain as before. You'll find 2 or 3 of these, I reckon 4 on this, and we'll be good to go. So I'm just going to carry on rolling and tipping. This is called tipping, by the way. What this does is it takes the air out of the varnish, so you don't want air. It doesn't have to be a perfect coat first time, it just needs to be over the panel, completely covered, because we're going to build the varnish. Okay, let's crack on with the rest of it. Check. It's the first one. I just want to make sure no air sitting in there. Okay, so that's it. I won't do any more with this. I'll just let that dry. 2 or 3 hours time, it'll be touch dry. Just check in here, so you get a little bit there. This is the time to check to see if you've got any little runs appearing. Get them now. If you struggle with the run, just use a bit of thinner and then just go over it, because the next varnish will go over and cover. So, right, number 1. Now we've got to leave it, got to be dust free. So we move on. We do some measuring. The one thing about where the sockets and the switches go in the back panel is you'll be able to see the back of the boxes when you're doing the electrics. So what I've done is I've just made these up, and they're just a very simple box, and the metal box will fit into them with the rubber glands at the back. And I'm literally just going to put them in place, so the metal box will pop through. This will be what you'll see. So when we do the staining, varnishing, whatever we do from the inside, which is going to be very soon, we'll do these as well. Right, so I'll show you where they go. Basically, if you're looking on the inside of the panel, you can see where our old switch was. This is where the new switches go, just here, and just down the bottom there you can see where the old socket was, which was way too low, and this is where the new socket's going to go. So when we do this as wood, we're going to blend that in, and so yeah, so it just doesn't look out of place. We don't have horrible metal boxes. I'm just going to put a screw in the box for now, just to hold it in place, because I'm going to take the boxes out afterwards. So it's just literally just to line it up, and then when we do the second coat of varnishing, I'll varnish the inside of the box as well. So I've got a couple of screws just lined up just here, so pop them in. So now the electric cables for the double socket will just come straight into the back, then run off to wherever they're going. The electric board, we can just put it around it because we're going to use other stuff in here. It's not going to be too much in here. Basically, it's all going to be connection to the Helm. So yeah, the nice thing is when we stain it all, when we stain all of this, this will be lost rather than have a metal box looking at you in the face. Okay. As always, thanks for you watching and thanks for your subscriptions and your comments and everything. Number 15 will be the panel, this panel, possibly giving the inside panel another little go over, but it's mainly going to be here now in this Helm area and anything we can get on with. So thanks for views, thanks for subscriptions, thanks for everything. The main thing is you take care of yourselves, so I really do appreciate you taking an interest in this, even though it's still a little bit slow at the minute. We're still picking up, and I'll see you next time with a few bits in between during the week. I'll put a few shorts on, I think, because this is going to slowly start ticking by, and so people are watching all of them can see what's happening during the week as well. So you take care of yourselves. Thank you very much. See you soon.